Good evening, and welcome to Evolution of Schools with David Attenborough. Back in the 1950s, children would work individually at their desks, only speaking when spoken to. When encountering a problem, students would often raise their hand and wait to be assisted. A classroom in the 1950s consisted of a blackboard with cupboards that were stacked with textbooks, exercise books, inkwells, nib pens, and of course, pencils. While teachers sat at their desks, which was located at the front of the classroom, close to the side of the blackboard, segregation was evident in classrooms of this decade, with girls and boys being seated on opposite sides of the classroom. This continued into school sports, with it being separated by gender, and although both genders shared the gymnasium, there was no interaction between the two. The gymnasium periods involved activities such as handball, tunnel ball, and something of the sort. Welcome to the 70s, where students sit in silence and receive information from their education facilitator. Children would sit in rows across the classroom and have their undivided attention towards the teacher, who stood at the front of the classroom and taught. Each desk would seat two people, one boy, one girl. Classrooms had tables for up to 35 children, where there was minimal space for work outside of a desk. Male and female students were integrated inside of the classroom, but for sport, they were not. Girls would play sports such as netball and t-ball, while the boys would play soccer and football. The walls of the classroom were plain, only containing the world map and times tables 1 through 12. Visually, the classroom was neat and perfect, which was replicated by the state of the students' desks. This was also evident by rewarding neat books with the reward from the principal. And now for the 2000s. Classrooms were set up different across the years, kindergarten classes being more interactive, while higher up classes being geared towards more independent learning. This allowed for socializing between the students, as well as engaged in learning at appropriate times. Throughout the term, the seating arrangement would be changed to allow for a small amount of mingling. Sometimes, as punishment, seating arrangement would be changed to the classic boy-girl, boy-girl. A small amount of segregation took place within the classrooms. Students with disabilities were often placed into classrooms where learning was at their level. Academic segregation was also implemented within schools. This meant that students with a higher intelligence were placed in a certain class, while students with a lower intelligence be placed in a lower class. This would allow for lessons to better suit students' learning. The primary school classroom has evolved over time so that children can learn as much as they can. It is shown through these interviews that the seating arrangements through the decades has indeed changed. In the 70s, boys and girls were separated and tables were individual, which involved into tables of two, with one boy and one girl. And finally, in the 2000s, tables changed to groups of 5 to 6, where there were both boys and girls at the table. Our research has shown that the teaching styles across the decades have remained the same. The lecturing technique has been used as a general form of teaching, where the teacher delivers content and the student must comprehend, however. In the current age, there is more access to assistance and aid in the classroom. Teachers and teachers' aides are helping students learn more and more as time goes on.